Hold up, hold up, hold up. Before you start frantically refreshing your news feeds and checking if the Prime Minister's marriage has gone the way of his political promises, let me stop you right there. Victoria Starmer hasn't filed for divorce. But after you hear what I'm about to tell you, you'll understand why half of Westminster is wondering if she should. Because what's happening in the Starmer household is a political soap opera so juicy, so perfectly British, that it makes EastEnders look like a documentary about tax returns. We're talking about a prime minister whose wife literally chose horse racing over his first cabinet meeting, a woman who told him to fuck off before she married him, and a marriage that's redefining what it means to be a political power couple in the most spectacularly awkward way possible. Picture this absolute madness. It's Saturday morning, less than 24 hours after Keir and Victoria walked down Downing Street like they own the place. Our new Prime Minister is buzzing around holding emergency cabinet meetings, giving press conferences, basically doing all the important prime ministerial stuff that keeps the country running. Standard political theatre, right? But here's where it gets absolutely mental. While Keir is playing statesman, Victoria completely ghosted the whole political circus and buggered off to Sandown Park Racecourse to watch horses run around in circles. Now, I don't know about you, but if my spouse had just become the most powerful person in Britain, I might stick around for the first weekend to, I don't know, help unpack, or at least pretend to be interested in the whole running the country thing. But not our Vic. She's out there living her best life, probably placing bets while her husband's dealing with whatever crisis du jour was happening that weekend. It's like becoming royalty and immediately choosing to go shopping at Tesco instead of waving from the palace balcony. And here's the kicker that'll make you spit out your tea. This isn't some spontaneous rebellion against political life. This is Victoria Starmer's entire bloody strategy. She's turned political wifedom into performance art, and the performance is called I Absolutely Refuse to Pretend I Care About Your Job. It's brilliant, it's brutal, and it's probably driving every spin doctor in Westminster to early retirement. Think about it. What kind of political spouse chooses their first public appearance as Prime Minister's wife to be at the races? It's like announcing your arrival on the political stage by immediately leaving the political stage. Most politicians' wives spend their first week doing carefully orchestrated photo ops, visiting hospitals, or at least pretending to be fascinated by their husband's policies. Victoria Starmer went gambling with friends, while her husband was literally reshaping British politics. But wait, it gets better, always, depending on your perspective on political marriages. Because Victoria's racecourse rebellion isn't some isolated incident of marital indifference. This woman has spent the last 4 years as Labour leader's wife conducting what can only be described as a masterclass in political spouse avoidance. We're talking about someone who's never given a newspaper interview, never done the whole TV cameras in the kitchen performance, never even introduced her husband at party conference. Let that sink in for a moment. The woman has been married to one of Britain's most prominent politicians for over 15 years, and she's managed to remain more mysterious than an MI6 operative with social anxiety. While other political wives are writing memoirs and launching charity initiatives, Victoria Starmer's greatest public achievement is successfully avoiding the public entirely. And the children? Don't even think about it. The Starmer kids are more protected than state secrets. Nobody knows their names, nobody's seen their faces, and if you tried to photograph them, you'd probably get a visit from someone very serious wearing a very expensive suit. It's like witness protection. Except instead of hiding from criminals, they are hiding from political journalists and social media influencers. Now, before you start thinking Victoria is just shy or cameraphobic, let me paint you a different picture. This is a woman who was elected student union president at Cardiff University with a campaign slogan, Make My Day. Student politics. Folks, the training ground for future megalomaniacs and the place where political careers go to be born or die horribly. Victoria wasn't just participating, she was winning, and her victory speech was apparently fucking corny, fucking excellent. That's not the behavior of someone who's afraid of attention. That's the behavior of someone who knows exactly how to work a crowd. But here's where the story gets absolutely delicious, because the origin story of their relationship reads like a romantic comedy written by someone with a very dark sense of humor. Picture this. Hotshot human rights barrister Keir Starmer calls up Victoria's law firm, probably feeling very important and loyal, demanding to speak to whoever prepared some brief for court. He then proceeds to interrogate her about whether her work was actually correct, Because apparently, that's what passes for flirting when you're a barrister. Victoria's response? Who the fuck does he think he is? And here's the best part. He heard her say it. Most people would consider that the end of any potential romance, but apparently Keir found it absolutely charming. Very sassy, very down-to-earth, no nonsense from anyone, including from me, he said later, probably while wondering how he managed to marry someone who once told him to essentially bugger off before they'd even met properly. It's like a meet-cute design by someone who thinks traditional romance is boring and decided to spice things up with professional hostility and creative swearing. Most love stories start with love at first sight. They're started with fuck off at first phone call. It's almost romantic in a very British, very awkward sort of way. But here's what makes Victoria's approach absolutely genius from a political strategy standpoint. She's managed to maintain her own identity while married to someone whose job literally involves becoming public property. While Keir's every move gets analyzed by political commentators and Twitter trolls, Victoria's out there living like a normal person who just happens to be married to the Prime Minister. She goes to work at a London hospital, has coffee with friends, and apparently doesn't give two hoots about whether her husband's latest policy announcement is trending on social media. The family kitchen tells a whole story, according to Tom Baldwin, Starmer's biographer who's apparently been given unprecedented access to their domestic life. Most politicians' homes are basically shrines to their own importance, walls covered with photos of them shaking hands with world leaders, meeting celebrities, or holding up football scarves. But the Starmer kitchen? It's dominated by one massive photo of Doncaster Racecourse. Not Keir meeting the Queen, not his election victory, not even his beloved Arsenal. Horse racing. Victoria's horse racing. It's like living with someone whose job is running the country, and the most prominent feature in your shared living space is a testament to your hobby of watching animals run in circles while people shout and throw money around. That's not just maintaining your independence. That's actively asserting your complete indifference to your spouse's career in the most visible way possible. And the Friday night family dinners with her father? While most political families are probably discussing policy papers and upcoming elections, the Starmers are having Jewish prayers with Victoria's dad, who apparently has zero interest in his son-in-law's day job beyond the fact that it occasionally puts him in newspapers. It's like having a completely normal family life that just happens to include someone who makes decisions that affect 6 to 7 million people. Victoria's determination to maintain normalcy extends to her work life too. While other political spouses are launching foundations or becoming ambassadors for various causes, she's still working in occupational health at a London hospital. Can you imagine being a patient and discovering that the person helping with your workplace injury assessment is married to the Prime Minister? It's like finding out your dentist is secretly royalty, surreal but somehow perfectly British. The international events present the most fascinating contradictions. Victoria will fly to Washington for NATO summit, probably because diplomatic protocol requires it, and refusing might cause an international incident. But you can bet she's not thrilled about it. She's probably thinking about what horses are running that weekend while Keir's discussing nuclear deterrence with other world leaders. What makes this whole dynamic absolutely brilliant is how it completely subverts expectations of political marriages. Usually, political spouses become extensions of their partner's brand. Think Nancy Reagan or Hillary Clinton. They are political assets, strategic allies in the grand game of public perception. Victoria Starmer has turned that entire concept on its head by essentially saying, "Thanks, but no thanks. I have my own life." But here's the thing that probably keeps Keir up at night, beyond just worrying about running the country. How long can this arrangement actually last? The higher up the political ladder you climb, the more the spotlight intensifies. Being leader of the opposition is one thing. Being Prime Minister is an entirely different level of public scrutiny. Every move gets analyzed, every decision gets dissected, and every family member becomes fair game for public interest. Victoria's managed to maintain her privacy fortress for 4 years, but now she's married to the most watched person in Britain. The media pressure must be intense, the security requirements must be overwhelming, and the simple act of going to watch horse racing probably now involves more logistical planning than a military operation. Yet somehow, she's still managing to maintain her boundaries, still going to work, still meeting friends for coffee, still living as if being married to the Prime Minister is just a quirky detail rather than a life-defining circumstance. It's either the most successful act of political spouse rebellion in British history, or it's a marriage strategy so unconventional that it might actually be genius. The question everyone in Westminster is probably asking is, how long before the pressure cracks this arrangement? How many more racecourse visits before some tabloid decides a story is worth pursuing aggressively? How many more international summits before diplomatic expectations override personal preferences? Because let's be honest, Victoria Starmer's approach to being a political wife is unprecedented in British politics. She's not playing the game, she's not following the rules, and she's certainly not pretending to be fascinated by her husband's policy announcements. She's living her life exactly as she wants to live it, and if that occasionally upstages a Prime Minister's big moments, well, that's his problem to solve. So while she hasn't actually filed for divorce, Victoria Starmer has definitely filed for independence from political life in the most spectacular way possible. She's created her own rules for being a Prime Minister's wife, and those rules apparently involve horse racing, hospital work, and a healthy dose of I don't give a damn about your political drama. Thanks for watching UK Pancakes. Hit that subscribe button because British political marriages are apparently more entertaining than anyone expected.